Yo, 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 it is Saturday, February 28th, 8:24 in the morning. I'm headed to the neighborhood where my gym is. My first setup at a cafe slash co-working spot. And we're going to get some presentations to the finish line, though. Some presentations, some applications. We're ending February super strong. We really went for it. Finished tax filing for the Delaware C Corp, smashing it with investor outreach and also new brands that want to partner and gift run. We're weeks away from closing deals. This is going to be the biggest revenue moment in the history of We Discover. I'm super, super excited about that. What else? We got some new IP. We're working on those patent applications. We're not going to say much about it, but I just want to say to founders out there, you might think that it's overrated to get something patented. But if and when you're working on something that's category defining, that's infrastructure defining for a specific industry, spend that money. Do those provisional patents at least, do those filings, and that'll cover you for like the first 9 months to a year while you actually validate and work on all your schemas and drawings for the patent. After looking into it, all of our patent activity over the next 2 years is going to cost us a little over $500,000. But think about this. Once we have the patents finalized and we get them approved, the licensing fees alone for what we're creating, it's going to be in the hundreds of millions. So $500,000 today to make $100 million, potentially $1 billion. Who knows how big this is going to be? 3, 4, 5 years down the road it's a no-brainer. And we don't have to spend our own money, right? We have corporate partners, investors. So the skill is being able to um, detect patterns and then create a new pattern or a new signal. So we're in that signal pattern creation stage. And honestly, I want to make sure this point gets across to people. So I was building this company for 3 years on my own as a solo founder. Now, some people might consider that a slow burn, and they might say that's not a startup. It's not a high growth startup. But hear me out. What I was intentionally doing was patiently watching the space. I immersed myself in events. I immersed myself in striking up partnerships between myself as an artist and brands, and then expanding it out to my creator community and letting them partner up directly with brands. And our actual inventory is not really the audience of the artist, it's the spaces. The spaces has become our advertising real estate. So when you got even 100 spaces signed up saying, hey, yes, you can bring communities here because they're going to buy from us and we're going to have revenue. Now you're able to say to a brand partner, hey, I've got 100 physical spaces where you can get positioned, integrated, and advertised. Here's what it's going to cost. And you do enough research on that customer, that brand, to know how to competitively price your advertising solution. So by doing this now, we're going into actually our 5th year. So 2 years as having doing this supported by a team, plus the 3 years of me doing it on my own. Going into year 5, it's we now have enough data and enough patterns that we've analyzed to have feedback loops and see where the real opportunity is. And so people look at our app ecosystem, We call it an operating system. It's a unified multi-user ecosystem, and they think that's the product. That's not the product. That is simply how we are showing the use case of our true competitive advantage. What we built, what's underneath all of it, what we're actually building, what we have built. And so think about it like train tracks. Train tracks enables expansion. It enables other companies to build on top of and move across. And that's effectively what we've done. And so our ecosystem, our OS, is just the first example of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of companies that can build on top of our train tracks. So really exciting. I think a modern day example of this would be Ether is built on top of Ethereum. Um, you know, cryptocurrency lives on top of an actual protocol. You have to build a protocol first for the coin to operate on top of. Okay. So that's pretty fucking exciting. It's really exciting. We get to do really fun things like build with production plants, factories, manufacturers, providing new solutions. We get to partner directly with research labs that are supplying data and research to cities. So many interesting verticals that we wouldn't have. There's no way we could have gone after this opportunity if I hadn't first taken the time to patiently build and fail a lot, which actually they're not failures. It's research. I was the research engine the first 3 years, and now the past 2 years, the team has expanded on the research with me. And now we have very clear KPIs that we're tracking. Okay. And those key performance indicators are really just data points, you know, that we're mapping to a very specific product, our true product. So again, exciting as hell. Um, People that around me that know what I'm building, they're like, what is it like to know that, you're really on the path to being a billionaire? And it's like, it's exactly what I always imagined it would be. Like I never even looked at like millionaire status. I was like, that's that's not thinking big enough. And I get to do it as a solo founder at that, which is crazy because of the technological advantages and advances we have today and that we will have in the next year and 2 years. So we're in an extraordinary age of abundance. And even once analysts start calling me an official billionaire, that was never the point for me. Money is great. I love money, right? But it's what I'm going to be able to do with that leverage, that asymmetric leverage to build other cool things that I really need to see happen. Like I I had a once failed startup attempt that many people don't know about, which is a project called Music Box, which were autonomous content creation and streaming vehicle stations parked throughout cities. And I started to actually build this in Los Angeles. I was lucky enough to have an angel investor, this guy named Thomas from France. And we started super DIY. Just got a used food truck, converted it into a mobile recording studio. Now, this was the pandemic hit, and then we were going to do trade shows and all these things in Vegas, all types of awesome stuff. But so that stopped. And the roadmap for that product was already, autonomous. Like we were thinking driverless, like these vehicles move themselves around hotspots in cities, and they can become like a marketing loss leader for different brands that support creation, creator economy, streaming, so on and so forth. Uh, but we didn't get there because number one, pandemic, but also I realized that the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure, the brain hadn't been developed yet and need to be built. So now, you know, 6 years later, uh, when I look at what I've built in terms of digital infrastructure, I get to then go back and do those other projects that brings together hardware and software in an even bigger way. So, you know, I look forward to a near future where all the major cities and even actually even servicing the smaller cities so that we can level up economies where we have my music box and game box autonomous vehicles parked in cities, right? Um, so anyways, the invest early in protecting your IP. Apply for patents, apply for trademarks, apply for service marks. If you can only do it first at a regional level, that's okay. If you're just operating regionally, but as you expand, because I'm telling you, guys, don't underestimate the power of a great idea and creativity. Many of these big companies, they don't have creative genius and they are scanning the internet looking for inspiration and they will steal your shit. And you will not even realize it until a year later it hits the market and you'll be like, I swear I came up with that. It's because companies actively crawl the internet. And now, even more so with AI, they are scanning everything. They can scan keywords, they have vision learning, all these things. They will find your idea. And if it's not protected, they will take it. And you will have very little leverage. They'll have the cash to be able to keep you tied up in court for 20 years. Right. You might eventually get your money, but you want to enjoy your life and the proliferation of your art today, not 20 years from now. So take the advice from me, protect yourself. It's worth it. I'll see you at the gym.